And just so you know, we told her those aren't cameras, those are pen dispensers. Because there's a little nervousness here, so you're all right.
A little bit, so please bear with me. My thanks go out to these gentlemen so much. They've known and listened to us asking this bill this time. It needs to happen now. There are so many patients in this state that have gone. One of the things that's really hard to state, there was an elderly woman from Michigan who started caving into the point where I'm at after someone asked about how could they go about getting cannabis. And the only way they could do it was from their grandchildren. And it turned out that this woman was a woman who totally gave up, found out the only thing we could do is tell her the truth. You need to find it any way you possibly can to stay alive. But until it's legalized, which I can actually thank an officer from my town for saying after they raided my home for 10 hours, just looked at me and said, I hoped it would never come to this. But somebody said I was smoking marijuana and they had to follow through on this. And it had just gotten so out of hand, but he looked right at me and said, until this law is changed, this is the law. It's like, by God, this law needs to be changed. So we're finally at this point where I've seen so much different change this time around that people seem to have hope, which without hope, there's a lot lost. You can lose a lot from your body, but when something's taken from your spirit, that's one of the hardest things to get back. And these gentlemen have helped give us that hope back. And there are so many patients that are my heroes from all over the state that have just jumped on board, that have written emails. Can we help? In what way can we help? I mean, everyone wants to do something to make sure this gets passed because everyone knows a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a neighbor, but because it's the right thing to do, not necessarily because they themselves need to use this medication, which so many people are afraid to speak out. Getting pretty hoarse. But just because it was something illegal. But like I said, if everyone knows somebody that it does touch everybody. Every one of our, I mean, we're all in this together, every single one of this. Whether we thought this was our cause or not our cause, it is. It's all of our causes. And I'm not sure what else to say other than we need to have this bill passed now. We can't wait any longer. It needs to be now. So people like Mary Powers that fought so hard for this and lost her time with this earth, well, I'm sure her spirit knows about it, but she never got to really celebrate this time. So I don't want to have to tell any more patients that this time's over, and I don't really want to be in past tense. So, please, Gary can definitely over here, we get freaked out seeing all those counties and we're pen dispensers. But this is really, really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. And on behalf of Emily and patients from Wisconsin, I'd like to thank our sponsors of the bill, Senator Erpenbach and Representative Pocan. It just means so much to state patients to finally get to the point where we have a live bill. And I have to pinch myself every day to make believe it's true. I also like to thank all the patients here today who came a long way to show their support for this bill. We have some in front here like John from Racine, and Charles, he's a veteran. This is a big bill for veterans. And Jason went through a terrible course of treatment for cancer earlier this year. These are the kind of people who are the face of this issue. We're not criminals. We're people just trying to get on with our lives and deal with it and move forward. My interest in this issue began in 1972 when I accidentally stumbled upon cannabis as a way to save my eyesight from congenital glaucoma. And through the intervening years, I got to know a lot of patients, and many of them never lived long enough to see a bill get passed in their lifetime. And one such person was my dear friend Mary Powers. Mary and I have tirelessly lobbied this building in the last 5 years, and this year we were here every week starting in April. And Mary had cancer, AIDS, hepatitis C, and she used a wheelchair. She was a disabled veteran. Life wasn't easy for her. She went through 7 courses of radiation and chemotherapy. But she was here lobbying up until October 7th. When she had oxygen, using oxygen, and Mary passed away October 22nd, and she ran out of time, you know, and we can't let that happen to any more patients. If she could be prescribed radiation and chemotherapy, why couldn't she use a little bit of cannabis naturally to ease her nausea and pain? Polling has shown over the years that this is something that the people of Wisconsin support. Emily did a poll in 2002 that found 80% support. Another poll in 2005 with slightly different wording found nearly the same. One day soon, hopefully soon, the Jacki Rickert Medical Marijuana Act will pass. My hope is that it is passed in Jacki's honor, not her memory. The penalties for delaying passage of the Jacki Rickert Medical Marijuana Act are severe indeed for those who are depending on the Wisconsin legislature to do the right thing, as Mary was. This year has brought tremendous changes, and medical cannabis has moved further into the mainstream. Mark pointed out the Obama administration policy change and the AMA policy change. These are very significant, and it means that medical marijuana is now part of mainstream health care. The days when a legislator could voice their opinion against medical marijuana and not have to substantiate it to the people who believe otherwise are past. Our sick and dying patients deserve as much. It's also time to put the immediate welfare of seriously ill and dying medical cannabis patients ahead of potential loopholes that opponents will want to warn us about. Perceived loopholes can be closed even after a bill is passed, but you can't give someone their life back who died waiting for it. All of us have known somebody like Mary Powers or Jacki and have felt the helplessness watching them face serious illness and knowing we could do little to ease their pain. This bill addresses that in a comprehensive manner. Passing the Jacki Rickert Medical Marijuana Act would give our veterans, seniors, sick, disabled, and dying a little dignity back and a quality of life. Compassion must no longer be a crime in Wisconsin. As Jacki says, this bill, this time. Thank you.